So Kuba fixed my sandal. He just super glued it back on, and he sewed the strap to the sole here. So now I'm gonna go test them out, even though it snowed last night. My motivation to run today is filming, not fitness. Do we think they'll last the whole run?
I don't know, it seemed pretty strong, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, we'll see. Ready.
Yes.
Hey, what's up everyone? So today's Wednesday, you know what that, today's a Q&A video. I know it's Tuesday. Normally I do these videos on Wednesday, but since tomorrow we're going to be making our way up to Zagreb, taking a bus, I figured I would do the Q&A a day early. So the run this morning, the sandals worked fine. They didn't break. I ran the whole way, no problems. Xero shoes, they weren't able to help me because I've had those sandals for 2 years now, and their manufacturer warranty only covers the first 12 months. Yeah, still recommend them, but the sandals just, they won't last, years. So I guess that's expected, but I'm so glad that Kuba fixed them for me. And my feet were like totally soaked by the end of the run because we had to like run through some snow. But anyways, yeah, I'll just get into the Q&A now. So Christy asks me, what YouTube channels do you love and follow? So really there's like two, Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon. Casey Neistat, he's a filmmaker, and so he isn't doing daily vlogs now, but it was like a few years, he was doing daily vlogs every single day. So those vlogs are helpful to me to learn different editing, like different ways to edit videos, different shots I can get. He's also really funny and motivational. Just the story about how he came to be is really interesting and inspiring because he started with nothing and he like worked his way up to the top. He's always pushing himself to do more and be more creative and like work on the next challenge, but so inspirational, and Kuba actually turned me on to him. Peter McKinnon, he recently started YouTube. This is his first full year of YouTube, but previously he was working as a professional photographer and videographer. Traveling the world, so now he just has so much information to offer people who are interested in those things. His filming is excellent, like so good. He's like really fun, vibrant, excited, and he's a good teacher too. So if you're interested in filmmaking, I would suggest checking those channels out, and they're entertaining to watch as well. Gina wants to know, my question for you is about currency exchange. Do you go to the local bank or do you use one of the various companies that offer different exchange rates in the countries you visit? So I just use my debit card at a cash machine like I would if I were in the States. I just go pull money out and I'm fine. That's what I do. I never go and exchange money elsewhere. It's easier just to take it out from a cash machine. We only did that once in Thailand because you had to enter the country with so much money, like cash. So we exchanged however many pounds we brought with us from the UK, exchanged it there into Thai money. All right, Love Glasses Pereira asks me, what have you done with things that had sentimental value to you? I got rid of a lot of them. I burned a lot of them, like photos and documents, stuff like that. And then I did send 2 little wine boxes full of, there was like a book, some photo albums, a bunch of like ticket stubs and stuff like that from my previous travels before I left the States. I sent those to one of my sisters and she's holding on to that for me. Sentimental items can be difficult. As long as you have the memories of those things, you don't really need every single item. You just have to decide what's more important to you. If you have the space to keep those things, then I would just keep them. All right, Maui Wowie wants to know, I was wondering how you got to be a pastry chef. This is a long story. I'll try to give you an abbreviated version. Basically, I had no prior pastry experience, nothing. I just started teaching myself everything I could about pastry and baking, especially vegan and gluten-free baking. I was really into that. I was baking all the time, like every single day I was baking something, and this is when I was at the university. I considered going to culinary school because I didn't know like which route to take. So in order to get into the school that I wanted to go to, I had to do a 6-month internship somewhere. So I just went to every single bakery place in Athens, Georgia. That's where I was going to school. And like basically beg them to take me on to where I would work for free for 6 months just because I needed the experience. And I kept going back to this one place. I went there several times. They finally took me. And then I worked there for free for 6 months, learned as much as I could. And then eventually they hired me on as like the head baker there. The woman who actually trained me, she ended up moving elsewhere, so I took her position. And then in that time that I was working there, I took on several other jobs, other baking jobs, to where I was working like 2-3 jobs at the same time. One of them would be night shift, so like basically I was only sleeping like every other day, every 2 days, just learning as much as I could because I wanted all of that experience and I was really excited about it. And then I moved to California to go to that school. Once I got to California, I got hired within the first week in a pastry position. And then I started school there like a few weeks later. I was in the school for a month, realized this wasn't for me, so I quit culinary school because there just wasn't any point for me being in school. I had already been working in pastry for like a couple years, so I can't remember exactly how long. So I quit the school. I had several different jobs, like pastry jobs, working them at the same time. So within a few weeks of quitting school, I got hired on as a pastry chef of this restaurant there. Mustard's Grill in Napa. I worked there for a bit and then I moved down south and got hired on at a place at Santa Barbara as a pastry chef. This whole process was just me, climbing the ladder as quickly as I could because I was hungry for that knowledge and that experience. So that's why I was working like several different jobs at the same time. I was so stressed out because I was working all the time. I liked the pressure of learning new things, but it just got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I working so hard? And really me hopping around from job to job, like at the end there, it really came down to the money. Like I wanted more and more money for my skills. I finally got the job that I was like, that I wanted in the end. But then like I ended up quitting that job and leaving so I could start traveling nomadically. Helena Gonzalez asks me, what has been the biggest cultural shock you have had living in Europe versus the States? I don't know what like the biggest shock would be. Like there are several like major differences. Like one of them, Americans are obsessed with guns for some reason. And I knew this before leaving, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to leave. It's a little weird, like nowhere else is it like that. Like especially in Europe, like no one cares about guns. And it's good that you can't get them as easily. Okay, Susan asks me, do you crave chocolate on your cycle? No, I'm pretty sure that's just an American thing. I believe they've done studies showing that that's not like, it's not cross-cultural that women crave chocolate on their period. I think it's just acceptable to crave chocolate when you're on your period, so people just crave it. But I'm not really sure on that, but I never crave it. Don't you miss having home? No. I've never really considered any place home. Home is just wherever I happen to be living. Like I don't have a home in the States. I don't even know what that would be. The Jones Experience asks me, what good reads besides the obvious Thoreau, Walden, or Kondo do you recommend dealing with temperament and minimalism, especially from a nomad's perspective? I don't have an answer for this question because I haven't read any of those books that you've mentioned, so I'll definitely check those books out. But honestly, I haven't read any books on minimalism or traveling. I have been reading 1 book a week since this year started, so I'm currently on my 12th book. Did you have like any shopping addiction before going minimalist, like buying makeup, shoes, kitchen utensils? I wasn't addicted to shopping before becoming a minimalist, but I definitely would go shopping when I was bored. So I viewed shopping as something to do, like when I was bored or I needed to pick me up. I would buy stuff to make me feel better, so maybe it was like an addiction. It was easy to break though, once I knew like, okay, I have to get rid of everything to move. And last question for today. I don't even know how long this video's been going. Christy asks me, how much total weight have you lost since eating this way? Looks delicious. And you look great. Thanks, Christy. And she also asked, what about Kuba? How long has he been vegan and did he lose weight too? The last time I weighed myself was in February, and then it was a total of 29 pounds lost. Kuba's been vegan, I took notes here. He's been vegan for 4 years now and he lost 40 pounds. The weight we lost isn't because we're vegan, it's because we eat like a high carb, low fat diet. Super low fat, no oil, like little to no processed food, lots of starches. That's the key. If you're interested, you can check out The Starch Solution by Dr. McDougall, and he has a free starch solution program on his website that's super helpful. Also Forks Over Knives, it's the same diet. The same diet that's promoted by like the China Study, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, Dr. McGregor, whole foods, plant-based, high carb, low fat, no oil, vegan diet. It's a mouthful. Okay, so that's it for today. Lots of questions there. Hope I didn't talk your ear off. So thanks so much for your questions. If you have additional questions for me, ask them in this video. Say it's for the Q&A and I will answer them next week. I don't even know where we're going to be next Wednesday. Let me see. We're either going to be in Vienna or Bratislava. I'm not sure. Thanks much for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.